allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody chance to look through the minutes from April 23rd.
Make a motion to approve as written.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Everybody have a chance to look through the claims for the month, 2 weeks.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes, or pay the bills.
I'll second.
Any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
You guys want this to sign? Aye. Okay, progress on the training building.
Want me to take that? I have received 1 of 2 appraisals on the training building. I did not print the entire appraisal, it runs to 91 pages. The appraisal is very thorough. This will all become public information at some point. The town apparently paid for that building $353,891. The appraisal is at $400,000, and that's based on comparable data. They looked at a number of properties. The appraisal discusses the pros and cons of the structure. Personally, I deal with a lot of real estate. This seems about right to me. It's got some things going for it with the additional land, but in some respects, it's not, Class A space either. Now, in marketing the property, the statute states that you must sell for not less than the appraised value. But that does not mean that you cannot establish your own minimum bid. And obviously that's a matter within your discretion. But I know in addition to the purchase price, you have expended, I believe in round numbers, $100,000 in roof, windows, doors, etc. The appraisal notes that it's a shell. What I will do, I can send the entire appraisal to you electronically. To whomever wants it, I will provide a copy to Elaine. I haven't received the second appraisal yet, okay, but I would expect it any time. I suspect that it's going to be very close, in the same neighborhood. But I can speak to that more if you have other questions.
I'd like to speak to it as soon as possible on the second appraisal. They've had this long to do it.
I expect the second appraisal this week, and I'll follow up by phone tomorrow.
What's our next step after that?
Next step, pretty straightforward. Establish what you want as a minimum bid and establish the criteria for bids, and I can assist you with that.
Criteria.
Basic criteria would be obviously a cash sale. Standard provisions, the community, frankly, you can do some things that other sellers wouldn't, but generally speaking, you would provide an owner's title policy at the expense of the town. But other than that, the only expenses you would have would be the basic closing costs, deed, affidavit, etc. to the extent any proposed bidder buyer wants to undertake something such as a stake survey or something like that, that's at their expense. Putting together the bid specs is easy. You can include in bid specs reasonable statements as to desire. Do you want to encourage a local buyer? Do you want to encourage a buyer that somehow plays a role in the local economy? The most common sort of bid specs is that no buyer will use the property for certain uses. I mean, obviously, it's subject to the zoning account. By example, no buyer shall use the property for a nightclub, for this or that sort of thing. So,
Okay, how long is it gonna take to put the bid package together for
I
special
Can
meeting?
we prep that, can we expedite getting that? ready?
Yeah, I can provide you a draft and circulate by email this week.
That'd be great.
So we could even call a special meeting.
Special meeting after the bid specs are put together, then we must give published notice.
Is that 48 hours or?
No, let me walk you through it. And I sent to Mr. Jarman, I don't know if he's, there he is. I sent him a rather detailed email of timeline. You can shorten the period within which to receive bids. You can go up to 60 days. And during that period, the community can market the property itself, which is what I would anticipate here. If you don't get it sold within 60 days, you can hire a broker, but you have to put it on the market yourself for 60 days. I suggested that you consider, after publication, 14 days, 21 days to receive bids. But again, that's within your discretion.
Any snags in that?
No, it's entirely permissible under the statute.
Okay.
Since one of the purchasers could be here, is that suitable? 14 days.
Sooner the better. Yesterday would be great.
A prospective
Already done
purchaser
our survey.
would
We
like,
already paid for that.
Okay.
okay, that's perfect, so
So can we call a meeting next week, or
whenever you want, I
would
mean,
it be ready by then
oh yeah.
with the bid process and everything?
With bid won't be any problem at all. All you have, the bid specs, all you have to do is say yea or nay, or if you have input. I mean, really, quite honestly, the only thing I want to know is what's your minimum bid. And you can take that up in a public meeting tonight. If you're ready, if you want to think about it, I expect that.
You guys tell me.
Well, he mentioned 100,000, I just wanted to input, he also paid our
We
guys
also
an
had
hourly
staff.
rate.
Yes, we also had the
To
guys.
do
See,
all of that
I'm not
work.
aware of that, so.
Right,
Right.
I wanted, that's fine, $33 an hour or whatever for all
Right.
those guys, so,
Right.
yeah.
So,
we did windows, doors,
Roof.
roof, and furnace, didn't we? Furnace and air.
so if we pop around 550. 550 for what we need, that should just cover our costs.
That's our minimum bid?
Yeah, minimum bid 550,000.
So you guys want to do? We still gotta move stuff out of these buildings.
I don't think that would be a biggie. It's not that much we gotta move out there, is it?
Not just salt and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's not much, I don't think.
But I mean, we should get it cleaned out more.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we got the equipment, we got the guys to do that, so that's not a big deal. We're gonna wait on it, right? Okay.
So that's,
I'm good with that.
550 sounds good. What's the as a minimum bid? They wanna pay more, they pay more.
The other thing I'll mention, not sure why they did this, but they sent me the invoice to me personally with my name on it. And
Well,
it-
good, you can take care of that for us. Isn't that great, guys? What do you say? Get one of those.
It's not what the engagement letter says. The engagement letter projected a price of $3,200 for the appraisal, and that is what this invoice is, and it says bill to Pritzky and Davis LLP. I would like Morgan to process a check and I will forward it on.
Can do that.
If I did, you were able to roll that into that too. The guys would
Covers
take
that,
it.
covers everything.
That'll be-
Our expense,
Yeah.
this is,
That's gonna take care of most of it.
Well, I'll rough out specs. I will send it to Ellen for circulation.
Okay.
Okay, so back to special meeting.
okay, so we need to set up a meeting next week, whenever, to,
You guys tell me.
Whatever day you guys want.
I can, yeah, as long as it's evening,
Yeah. 7's fine.
6:30, 7.
We can do it 6:30. 6. It's your board. You got it.
I don't care, whatever everyone says.
the next Wednesday, the 21st, that gives us 7 days, gives us time to make sure it's advertised properly and,
Well, you have to approve it, then we advertise. Can't advertise it before you approve.
okay.
The meeting, I think
The
she means
meeting.
advertise the meeting.
Make sure the meeting's properly.
Oh, yeah,
Special meeting.
right, okay, right. No, if you do it Wednesday, you've got sufficient time to do that.
Okay. Let's do next Wednesday.
Just want to just
21st.
7, Tammy, you're the one that.
I mean, 6:30 or 7.
What's best for
If
you?
you done 7, I can maybe get Charles in here 6
Okay, let's do 7 o'clock,
for the fire.
21st.
We got a meeting at 6.
Nope, not yet.
Oh,
Not yet.
okay, 7 o'clock for this.
7 o'clock,
Okay,
special
I'm getting
meeting.
in here.
Okay.
Sure.
If we're still on the topic of Cranny Building, I got a text message from the window and door company wanting to know about payment.
Is it done?
He said he was dealing with Ralph and Ralph hasn't responded.
And
I
nobody's
have not
talked to
had a
me.
chance to go look at it. I'll go look at it
Okay,
tonight.
and I know that Rob hasn't been able to drive for.
Right.
Or
I
I
will-
will see very well.
I will try and go look at it. If it's still daylight when we leave, I'll try and go look at it, make sure we
Okay,
got it.
okay.
And then I'll let you know.
I would say I haven't heard from
Okay.
anybody, so.
Okay. Cool. Next.
Next Wednesday at 7.
Yeah.
Here. Okay.
What else we need on the SA?
We're good?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
Wednesday, yep,
Yep.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Any other old business? New business, Don Smith, come aboard.
How's everybody doing?
Hi, John.
Has everybody had a chance to read the email that I sent yesterday?
I don't read them.
You didn't read them? Well, I know, but I've been talking to you. Have you had a chance to read it, Tammy?
I did not. Well, I can pull it up real quick. Go ahead.
Well, it's kind of long. Basically, my knees are pretty well gone. I've been putting up with the pain for about 5 years now. Right now, I've got it set up so that I can have surgery in the second week of December so that I can use this year's vacation time and next year's vacation time to be off. I should be off about 6 weeks if everything goes okay, according to the doctor. Dave mentioned short-term disability, so I checked into that. Brady got back with me. Our short-term disability is set up so that there's a week waiting period before you can take it.
It's United, right?
Yes, United Healthcare. There's a week waiting period so you can take it, and I asked him if I could use my vacation time for that week, and he came back with you can use your vacation time and short-term disability at the same time, which I was not aware of. That's why I scheduled it for the way it is. Short-term disability only pays 60%. I talked to Morgan, I included her in all the emails. Morgan thought that there was something that said that we had to use our vacation time or paid time off before we could take short-term disability. She was looking at FMLA, which we found out that is different than short-term disability.
Workman's comp's different.
Yeah, workman's comp is
Yeah,
totally
workman's-
totally
yeah.
different.
They
Totally
came back
different.
with whatever the town policy says per our handbook, and guess what? It's not in our handbook.
There's nothing in the handbook.
So it's whatever the council decides.
Right. So I would like to ask if it's okay with you all,
You're wanting to schedule sooner, right?
yes, if I can. I can keep putting up with the pain. I'm not falling down. It's not that drastic. It's just very painful. And I take a lot of Advil. I can do steps. I just can't run up and down them. You know, I mean, it's not, yeah, like who can? I'm 65 years old. Nobody expects me to run up and down steps. But what I would like to do, if it's okay with you all, I will take 3 weeks vacation. I will file for short-term disability. So I'll have a week for the week waiting period. There will be 2 weeks I get short-term disability and my paycheck. And then after the short-term disability, I was wanting to ask, like I say, you only get 60% of your check.
Right.
But I still have to pay my health insurance, which is $155 a week.
I had told him we did pay Henry's.
I say if we did it for one, we gotta do it for all.
So I was wanting to know if it's okay with you all that I do that, and if all that's okay with you guys, I'll call Dr. Strong tomorrow and see how soon he could do it, instead of waiting until December.
If we've done it before, I mean.
Yeah, we did it
before.
before. I remember we did that. So,
Okay.
Don, you need to be 100% to do your job.
Yes,
So
Yep.
that's-
yeah, I agree.
I move that we pay his insurance, take his time, get fixed up.
I'm hoping to be back, I'm hoping that if I do my PT like twice as much, I can be back in like 4 weeks.
Yeah, that
But,
doesn't quite work
I don't know if it
out.
works.
It don't work that way, trust me.
Then you overdo it.
I pushed one knee, I got back in 5 weeks, and I probably should have had another, but I was slinging kegs at a party, so.
You and your walker?
Yeah. He did tell me, I said, how long am I supposed to be down? He said 5 to 6 weeks, and Steve went to Dr. Strong, so he's a great doctor.
Yeah, he's a bit-
I said, what if I do them both at the same time? He said 6 weeks. So he said, if you can take it, do both of them at the same time, that way you're not having to do all this twice.
The only thing I'll request, Don, is before you come back,
Mhm.
bring a doctor's.
Mhm.
Yeah,
thing.
Oh, yeah, I expect that.
your, physical therapy will release you also.
Okay.
Is there anything he has to pass per his position to come back? Like, I know we weren't gonna let Henry come back until he could prove X, Y, and Z. Is this something, I don't know what he does.
Wastewater.
I know what you, but I don't know when you're back there, like up and down or moving
If he can
around.
do the physical therapy,
I was like, I've never had a knee replaced.
he can do the physical therapy, and what they'll put him
So I
through,
just need a doctor's note.
he'll
Okay,
be okay, get a doctor's note.
that's what I wanna make sure I know on my side.
Yeah, Morgan made the
I mean,
remark.
it's really just.
I'm like, I'm just,
Walking steps in and out of the vehicle, I mean,
I mean, he'll be restricted on weight for a little bit.
yeah.
I gotta lose weight too.
Well, yeah, you can do that too, that works, but lifting weight.
I had, Morgan made a remark, I think knee surgery is optional.
it's
Or what do you call it?
elective, like, it's
Elective.
not a,
It is.
you don't have to have.
Is
like-
it really?
The only thing that is like you have to have it if it's life threatening.
Mhm.
Other than that,
It's not
everything else is
life-threatening.
considered elective.
Yeah,
And I heard Steve was already back at work.
Mhm.
That's great. So,
I need somebody to second that motion, by the
I
way.
made the motion.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you very much.
On the same note, we got a guy that's going tomorrow for another operation. He tells me he'll be out 2 days, but I told him it'll probably be at least 2 weeks. So he's getting a thyroid operation. Oh my God. He said he'll be back in 2 days, but I informed him today, you have to have a doctor's thing to come back here.
Good.
I don't think mine will get scheduled probably until August or September. I don't know. Because I have to schedule 2 doctors since I'm getting a little late, so. But I won't schedule mine at the same time he's got his schedule.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Good.
Got other new business? We're gonna talk about, well,
Clerk treasurer's next, actually.
I don't have anything.
What treasures?
Oh, yeah, actually.
We'll go ahead and Thursday, let's get this other over with before we go into some other new business. I got some other new old business, but you're gonna do what you're gonna do, you see.
Stephen, we're gonna be up right now.
Okay.
Okay?
I got a few things. So first off, after interviewing several, or a couple, very, very qualified candidates, we settled on one. Mr. Jamie is seated right here behind me. We made him a conditional offer for the operations chief position. He accepted. He brings over 20 years of experience from the Big City Fire Department as an officer, then several years in various positions with different tech rescue and urban search and rescue teams, so very qualified. So we're happy to bring him aboard, so.
He's a paramedic.
Yep, and he is a paramedic, so another positive. So as long as we get everybody else's blessing, we'll move forward, and he intends to start on Monday.
I'm gonna make a motion that we formally introduce Jamie Broughton to Morris Chief for
Second that motion.
Move to second, any other discussion?
Third May 19th.
Thank you.
Aye.
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 I have a question. Sorry.
Aye, let's go, sir.
When I spoke to Jamie, he accepted the position not knowing even how much he was gonna make.
Why?
Well, thank you.
That's handy.
He's like, what? So I don't know what we settled or agreed on. It was back and forth. We've done everything. And so he is a paramedic. Do we have a number?
So
Because
I
he's a
thought,
paramedic. He's not taking our insurance. So we need to, he doesn't need it. But it had back and forth. So I don't know what we've agreed on.
so I thought originally it was around that 70 range, but I don't know what happened.
I know, and I don't know what we
Months ago,
settled
so.
on. So I want to make
70
sure.
suits me if it suits you.
I want to make sure when he starts Monday and I send payroll to Joe on Wednesday, I have it right.
I thought that's kind of where we was at, if that suits him.
I suggest you amend your motion and include that.
I will,
Break
My
on
motion
seven.
include that for 70,000.
okay, I want to make sure I have everything right because he's going to get paid after next week. Okay.
And he'll, all the longevity and all that will be included and.
Yes, and him and I have already met. He's already got all the paperwork, but that was the one thing I'm like, so.
And you're all right with that?
Yeah. You good with that, Jim?
Okay.
Good deal. Welcome.
He's gonna earn it, so.
Yeah, he's gonna run it.
So we got a good motion we gotta do, or is that?
So we're making a motion.
Larry seconded.
Second,
May
all in favor?
19th, 7, got
Aye. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
it. Sorry, I'm
Gotta
paying.
pre-approve that, but we just made it official.
I just wanted to make sure
Jamie,
that,
this is Larry,
Larry
Tammy, and Dave, Morgan, and our town attorney Brian.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
And you.
Glad you're here.
You're
Now
from
we have-
Batesville.
Here, next to you is Elaine, who's our secretary, and we have John and Brad as our two police officers. Brad is chief.
Okay.
Formalities are. Yeah, how's the equipment
Okay.
fund looking right now? Are we still waiting on, do we need to wait on the township in town to?
well, how much are you trying to spend?
So I was going to ask for the 3 sets of turnout gear we buy every year, but with the addition of Jamie in his position, I was gonna ask for 4 this year.
And what's that total?
They're roughly about $4,600 a set for a total of about 18,400.
You should be okay.
Okay.
You'll be okay.
So I'd like permission to go ahead and get 4 sets of turnout gear ordered. I've got 3 guys that are in need of it, plus Jamie now, so.
Okay, all motion to take care of that?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye. Get suited up.
That's all I got for now.
Sure.
I think so.
For now.
Anything else?
Catch the disclaimer for now.
See you in a couple weeks.
Here we go.
Losing track of my thought.
Doesn't take much, Vicky.
This is kind of new old business. Craig, was supposed to meet with the state today over this water deal. The guy had a family emergency medical problem, so he's gonna meet with him next week.
If he's back, if Craig's back.
Well, Craig will be back,
Okay,
because he can't get his taken care of for a while yet.
okay.
And then he will call Lee, when the guy's coming. And then tonight, we're gonna discuss, we're gonna lay waste to this, guys. We have dealt with this for 20 years. What are our sidewalk policies? I've got Ralph wanting to, which he's not here, buy the concrete, the person has to put the sidewalk in. I've got all kinds of suggestions, but we need to come up with a real policy for everyone. This is, make sense? I can tell you, I've got a thing from the state, we are responsible for sidewalks on 52 unless there's a major project going on and then they will do the sidewalk. There's probably not a major project going on for about 5 years. That's the last I knew. So, and that project might be the drainage, which is inadequate. We all know it. And one of the things I've been working on is like in front of the cattle, the sidewalk is deteriorating. We need to do something with that curbing. We need to do something with just not that curbing. Across the road, the semis have drove onto the curbing, so the curbing is lower than the sidewalk. So now they're getting on the sidewalk, and that's gonna be a catastrophe. So the state's either gonna have to fix this curbing, or we're gonna have to come up with some plan. So you guys tell me what we're gonna do. I wanna be fair to everyone. And we've always, I have a set of, Craig found me a set of sidewalk things, was it Caleb done?
There was a sidewalk project that Caleb did.
Where it was worst first and, you know, trip hazards.
We've had another one done.
Yeah.
Recently.
Craig's currently putting together another one, but he needs some direction on worst first, how you wanna do this.
We just had that survey done through
HWC.
HWC, and we should have I think, well, we got a printout on that, I do believe. It should be at least in the minutes.
Basically, what that was streets.
That was streets that had to be done. That's not curbs, that's right.
And those are leveled, like that
And
too.
that grant should be in the process of being done. It also can do sidewalks, and we might have to do curbings with it. My problem is I can't put a curb down US 52. The state's gonna have to do it. They won't let me dig on US 52.
We can do the sidewalk, but not
Yes.
the curbing.
I need to know how we're gonna approach this, so we can get this done. I have a house at Jackson Street. The price, I've given a price too, a couple. The guy said $7 a square foot, which is probably pretty decent,
It's not bad.
for sidewalks.
Yeah.
And that's into everything.
I was gonna say, that's removing and putting in.
That's everything.
We have a lot of really bad sidewalks in this town.
Which the next thing I want to ask you about, we have a capital funds to be used for sidewalks. I'm thinking, Brian, can I take some asphalt money and use that for sidewalks?
First, you're probably talking about cumulative capital improvement funds, so you can clearly use that for sidewalks. I don't know where your paving budget lies, but you can always move from line item to line item within a budget category.
It's the same fund.
If it's in, so if it's in, if it's in the street department budget, so to speak, then, we're not spending so much on salt this year, let's move it over there, that's fine. Beyond that, you have to have a special budget ordinance to move from budgetary category to another.
And the reason I'm
Does that
saying,
answer your question?
The reason I'm saying that is I've been working with Kevin Hay, we'll be accepted for the grant for the streets. Our streets are not extremely bad. So,
We can funnel some of that money to the sidewalk, or no?
well, that's what I'm working on. It's like I think we spent, was it, Morgan?
We,
100 to
25.
get 400?
Yeah,
or-
it's like 25%. They match like 75%.
I thought it was, I
Yeah,
thought it was
it's like
75,
75.
75.
Yeah,
So we need $100,000 to get.
Yeah, I told him we would put $100,000 in,
yes,
which gets us 400.
Right.
If we can move some of that money into sidewalks, we can do a lot of work on these sidewalks.
Well, we can finish the work we need to from the hill down.
So I need to know how everybody is with this.
I'm good with it. I think we need to take care of downtown. And then we gotta do some of the ancillary streets. I mean,
Yes.
and we have to do that the right way. We've discussed before, when we start at one corner, we gotta go all the way through the next corner.
And they're gonna be wheelchair accessible.
Wheelchair accessible.
And they'll be done right. So. is it
Can't do them
right?
all at once, but we can take care of that, because that's been on the clipboard for a long time.
Is it all right to start getting prices?
Yeah. We're good to go.
We'll start moving monies. We also have the separate fund from rail.
oh, yeah,
We can also use that.
that's in our general.
And I don't know how much is in it right now.
Off the top of my head, I'd probably say 150.
Okay.
So it's not, we don't have the money, we just gotta do
We
it.
gotta get it coordinated.
Yeah.
And I think when we start putting in these new sidewalks, we need to do something to keep people from parking on them.
Yes.
Because I did 3 miles through town a couple weeks ago, just looking and walking. And we've got a lot of really bad sidewalks. We've got sidewalks where there's no curves, so people park on them and you can't walk down them because their vehicles are on them.
Right, and I just seen that the other night, I
There's
drove around town.
There's a house over there that has a roll-off trash dumpster sitting on the sidewalk. I mean,
And that's kind of like a law enforcement thing. They have to go on the offside. And, which will be a pain to start with.
Well, if it's for a day or two, I don't have a problem with it, but if it's been sitting there for months, no.
That's just a normal parking
yeah,
spot.
that's just where they park, is on the sidewalk, in this particular area.
That might be an ordinance we have to work on.
Yeah.
So,
So then we will start putting together the sidewalk stuff, come up with funding, money,
In time.
So we're saying the town is going to pay them.
so how are we doing this? Ralph had one suggestion, I said, my only problem, I'll be honest with you, with us buying concrete and saying, okay, you turn around and get the sidewalk done,
We don't have any quality control.
we don't.
we don't,
And the other thing is it may be the worst sidewalk possible in town, and they don't have the money to put into fixing it.
They don't put rock in the way it needs to be, so if we govern what it is, and we
At least
control
they're
it,
done right, they're
it's
done.
done.
we can inspect it, make sure it's wheelchair accessible, make sure the width's right, make sure this is right, and that gives us control over the site. Does that make sense, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, I think your point's well taken, and that, you know, make purchase concrete, you can fix your sidewalk, the big problem there is oversight. One thing you could do is, first of all, you roughly assessed your funding position, but gel those numbers as to what you have. I mean, maybe a part of this 150, grant money, et cetera. Let's assume you assemble a fund of $600,000. I'm pulling that out of the air. You might then propose a bid for a comprehensive assessment, prioritization, and construction. So, and there are probably a number of companies that would be interested in that work. That's just, you know, quite honestly, larger cities, you see lots of work on sidewalks, particularly ADA compliant curb cuts and access and so on. That is work that can stimulate the economy a bit. It's work that is not bad for minority utilization contractors because it's, you know, a qualified concrete contractor can do that kind of work. You don't have to be Wilhelm to put in sidewalks. So that's just a suggestion. And again, it's a question of, you know, here's what our budget is, here's what we want, bid. I mean, the city of Indianapolis, and this goes back under the Goldsmith administration or the Ballard administration, had a lot of success with approaches to problems like that. And you can even say, you know, bid to be the general, and if you want to sub this work out, that's fine too.
So then, we have what we're doing, is that correct? How we're doing it? We're taking care of the total deal. That makes sense?
I think what we gotta do is, we're gonna put in, we gotta make it on the, where you go in front of a homeowner's home, they gotta keep it clear. You know, we're not shoveling snow, they gotta shovel their snow. Right. You know, we gotta make that somewhere.
I think that's in your ordinances now, probably.
Okay.
I think that's customary, that,
Yeah, homeowners responsibility, and,
Clarity.
you know, because we got people needing to mow the grass. So, nothing I'm worried about.
Well, that way she knows when the bids come in, we're doing the total.
Yep, they tear out and put down.
So that's resolved. Next thing is trees. I was going through the Hancock County thing the other day. If there is a tree that is a dangerous tree, they will take it down.
Who's they?
Hancock County.
Oh,
So you're saying like their ordinance or
Yeah, they're
their,
cutting everything back, like from the roadways. They had someone killed on a tree. So what we have to determine is what we're gonna do tree-wise, along roadways and stuff like that.
I think it's more problem in the streets, the side streets, we need to,
If we determine a tree is a dangerous tree, are we gonna have the ability to take it out?
well, if a homeowner doesn't, are we gonna step in and do it?
That's what I'm asking.
I mean, that's what, and I think it needs to be a situation by situation type thing, because otherwise you're gonna say, everybody's gonna say, I can't afford it,
Right.
and expect us to take care of it, but it's gonna be on their butt if something happens to somebody, and say act of God, but if they didn't act in a proper way, they should, you know, be responsible.
So how you gonna phrase that, right?
Brian. I mean, we already said if it's in between the sidewalk and the street, it's ours.
it's in an easement,
Yeah.
like a utility easement.
Yeah, so utility easement, you know, we're gonna take care of it, but there's some that, right next to the guy's house, that's not our gate.
There's some that's back in the yard. That's,
I can't say that's our issue.
okay.
We
You're
can't,
talking about the ones like right on the street.
the ones on the street, I think we gotta take care of, because it's on the street, or growing through the sidewalk, that's gonna be us.
trees
some of
that
those
are in
in
the
the
public
alley.
right of way are your responsibility. Now, you have a number of protections in the Tort Claims Act about liability from that. You can pass an ordinance about the removal of trees that are deemed to be a potential hazard. And another thing, and I don't think it's in the new UDO, a tree ordinance is helpful, and there are plenty of them around, in that, you know, the worst thing anybody can do is plant a maple tree right next to your sidewalk, because roots of maples are surface roots and they'll heave up the sidewalk. Greenfield has a tree ordinance that you could steal with revisions.
I have a list of trees.
Yeah,
That's
and
acceptable.
that's what these
Oh,
ordinances
they can be
are.
pulled.
It precludes planting certain trees adjacent to a sidewalk or street, and it also lists acceptable trees for planting in those areas.
Okay. So we need an ordinance to
I
do all
can
this.
have an ordinance on the next meeting, probably, I can have a proposed ordinance.
Okay,
Look at it.
so we'll do that. Any other new business? Mike? Okay. Legal, no, I'm done, I forgot more than,
Nope, I'm good. I've asked all my questions.
Brian.
I can be very brief. This evening, you will recall that the Plan Commission recommended approval of a minor subdivision subject to limitations. That was approved by this body, subject to entry of commitments. I drafted and negotiated commitments with the property owner. Basically, it's limitations as to the construction of houses. We have addresses on each lot. Access to all homes on the real estate is by private drive, which will be maintained by the owners or subsequent owners. Upkeep and maintenance drive is not responsibility of Morristown, Indiana. Commitments can be enforced by Plan Commission, council, property owners of the real estate, and any person who has agreed by violation of these commitments, including but not limited to owners of real estate which are abutting or adjoining the real estate. So they're signed, and I will, with your approval, have them recorded.
Move to approve, you have it record them.
Second.
Move to second, enter discussion. All in favor?
Right.
Good, Brian.
There's other Plan Commission stuff, but I'd leave that for the Plan Commission meeting next week. And then, again, at the Redevelopment Commission this evening is briefly discussed consideration of the timeline as to when a pursuit of a buffer zone and perhaps advancing consideration of a comprehensive plan into calendar year 2025 rather than 2026. But that's a workload budget consideration, entirely up to you.
Morgan, Mr. Klein Peters
Yes.
will be getting in touch with you about putting together a grant application, which we could get $45,000 for a $5,000 input on a comprehensive plan.
Now, it's not like that one we did before, where what you're paying for is a bunch of hoo-ha that doesn't apply.
This will go through the state, it's a state, and what we'll have to do, we're gonna sit down and put together a comprehensive plan, which Mr. Sheehan would probably help us with that, and the other guy.
I just want it to be for the town, not somebody's, I'm gonna look this up, make you a plan, and it doesn't even pertain to what we have. Like we ran
Well,
into that one.
you referenced Sheehan. Do you mean Brian Stump, perhaps?
Brian Stubb, Sheehan's working on it with him.
Okay.
It cost us, I think, him and I talked, $5,000, and they'll work off 45.
Well, this is a plan. That's,
But it's gonna take a little bit for them to get all that done, so that way we're moving in that direction.
you wanna do it for this year then? Can we get it done this year? With it being on.
Thanks
You
for
want
doing
to
that.
start, you got 6 months.
Okay. So,
Good.
We need to get anything.
Yeah, we gotta have it to even try to get it. All right, move forward on that.
okay, what else, Brian?
I have nothing.
Okay.
further, Sorry.
We're up to the police.
I've submitted the permit for Derby Days. I'm kind of interested to see how that goes with all the construction projects currently going on. So something we probably need to be aware and have an alternate plan if they decide to not approve that, but we will see. One of the differences we're going to look at is sending semis on to 500 South this year instead of bringing them back down to Asbury when they go up 500 East to help to eliminate some of that additional issue. So we're gonna have 2 crates where we made a sign that says automotive traffic left, semis right, to get them up that direction to add that in. I'm just waiting to hear back from the state. So,
All right, Brandon, we have no Cub Scouts in it, just Girl Scouts.
just Girl Scouts.
Really?
They don't have a troop leader. The board.
Wow, that's bad.
Yep, so I mean, I can't say it's gonna be real long, but, I mean,
I think they said like 13 girls.
yeah. So that's typically about 2 hours, give or take.
While you're talking about Derby Days, are we doing police officers again?
That's what I was bringing up.
Oh.
So, that worked out really well last year to bring in part-time guys. That freed us up to take calls and to patrol around town. So I was wondering if we could do at least 2, one at Asbury and one at 500 East, off-duty employment. Just pay them the off-duty rate.
We got guys.
I'll have to put inquiries out to see who's interested. But I bring them in about 10 o'clock in the morning and have them be there until, the race is over. So probably do a minimum 2 hours or something like that, or minimum 3, something like that.
Okay.
When I ordered ammunition prior, we were able to buy duty ammunition and practice ammunition. However, frangible was not available. We do need frangible for when we go to the range and shoot still targets. So I do need to look for that. It's kind of hard to get a hold of, and the price is up right now. So it's probably going to be around $400 or so per case, around 1,000 rounds. We don't use much of it, but it's something I'm going to have to purchase.
Okay.
Always get a lot of inquiries from kids wanting to know if we have stickers to hand out or trinkets, things like that. Other agencies contact us wanting to know if we have any, challenge coins or anything like that. So I kind of like to look into getting some badge stickers and kind of the new thing is it's instead of the challenge coins, which are more expensive, it's a poker chip that they print both sides full color.
Those are neat.
They're about $1.10 a piece. So usually it's around $100 minimum on those. So this is something that we can hand out as departments, something to have, so something I'd like to be able to purchase.
I think it's a good thing for promoting.
That's nice.
It's promoting the police department, it's promoting the town. You get a lot of back from that type of thing. See what you can find.
Okay. Last month, we had 132 calls, 59 of those we took. Of course, Josh was just starting, so, it changed a little bit. Traffic stops are up. See, we did 26 last month, and traffic's definitely up on 52 with the detour. Last week, I stopped 8 cars in one day. 3 of those 8 were in excess of 80 miles an hour, between 250 and 200. So, I mean, there's... Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were definitely, and, we're seeing issues also from, not as far as employees, but as far as coming out of Bungie. I stopped a guy the other day, left 500 East, and before he made it to the liquor store, he was at 63 miles an hour.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, I mean, we definitely have increase in traffic and speed is definitely, yeah, quite a bit. So, that's just something that we are out there, we're stopping cars, just, when they see us, they slow down, that's about it, so.
Gary's been checking your signs, like, he said the Morrison Street signs need looked at.
I drove past it today and it went off.
Okay.
I went by it. This morning at work.
Every morning and every
Yeah.
night I come
Yeah,
home.
every time I come by, she's flashing at you.
And we do have 2 of those still left to put up. We talked about the industrial park or Central Parkway and 500, splitting those tubes. So yeah, we do still have 2 of those to put up.
You can't put them on 52, can you?
Cannot put them on feet. Well, we could, but the state doesn't really want to give us the permits, and they're supposed to be putting them up within the next couple of years anyway.
Okay.
I have another question on that. Since you're on that, Craig and I talked about taking one of those trailers we're not using and mounting it where we can pull it around town and use it.
Probably be a bad idea.
It'd be cheaper than buying another radar trailer. We can just mount
We
one
can modify what
side.
we have, sure, let's do it.
One of you guys all right with that?
Yeah, I
Kind
mean,
of
move
mentioned-
around.
kind of mentioned
They
it
work,
before.
I mean, it works on me. Guilty. I see that thing go off, I'm like, God dang it.
Yep.
I see the frown this way.
Dave definitely does, yeah.
I shoot for this one.
But, yeah, I mean, from the stats I've pulled on them, they appear to be working right now. For instance, Morrison, I pulled the stats on them the other day, and we're only at 10% of vehicles are exceeding the speed limit.
I think they are all Saturday morning.
That's a good
when
possibility.
Parents are trying to get to soccer games. 'Cause I was in the front yard and that thing blazed. red and blue all morning long.
I watched Brad pull him over. He sat out there one Saturday before soccer. I'm like, oh, there we go. There's another one. Oh, there we go. All those parents coming to play.
Yeah, needs to be done a couple of times. I text Brad this weekend, I was
Are we okay
frustrated.
with-
Sorry, Brad, I was
Are we
frustrated.
getting the location of that one?
I don't know. They.
What do you
made it-
think? Is location of it okay out there on Morrison?
The only way it would maybe be more effective would be to have it in the center of the park, but then you're gonna have them almost side by side.
That's about where they're at.
Yeah, so I mean, that's,
Okay.
it's just kind of, you can move it farther down, but then if anybody gets off the edge of the road, they're gonna hit it.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a,
No, it,
as far as the industrial park, I mean, I would guess northbound 5 East would probably be a better idea, and Central Parkway if we wanted to use two of them. Southbound, I don't know, it's back and forth,
Yeah.
but the traffic coming off of 500 East is just kind of,
Well, if the truck will run off the road and hit an electrical, unit, I think that sign's perfect target.
yeah, very true.
We got a lot of holes patched, but you guys need to tell us where holes are at. Because we don't keep up every day going,
Right.
Yeah, I don't know of any major ones right now. We've got some spots again. Bungie at the railroad crossing, they just put stone in it. They haven't.
See, I talked to Mark about that, when he said, on that one, they're, the middle one, I guess, or
Yeah, it'd be the middle one.
the metal one, said they've always used stone there. So he just throws stone in there.
Yeah,
And
with the amount of semis and stuff that go over that,
it's gonna get.
and they're gonna get busier with
Yeah.
the expansion.
I did talk to a Bungie security guard, or one of the contractors the other day. They're hoping to start doing dry runs in July. So we'll probably be looking at some difference in traffic then too. And we did figure out that they have approximately 500 to 700 employees out there right now on the construction
I
side.
would say, yeah, I've seen them. It's amazing the line of lights you see in the mornings.
where's the solar fields? Well,
Yeah, I don't know. We don't see, the only time we see them is really leaving. We don't, lunchtime. That's about the only time we see them. I'm not sure how many they have. They seem to not be as many as there was of them.
Pretty much up, I mean.
I know they did just power tube the grids up within the last week or so.
Really.
So I think they're getting close to near completion on panels going up. I'm not sure where they're at with the landscaping and dirt work and how many contractors it takes for that, but I think the actual solar field itself is near completion. So they're slowly bringing those online.
Yeah, so they said we'll see a little bit of fluctuation in the workers out of Bungie with them starting to do their dry runs. That's gonna change some of that. At least through July, we're gonna have all those.
The one thing about that is, we're still, we're kind of guessing, because they don't talk to us much about how it's all going together. Engineers, they got their own little thing going on. They're not running as much product through there as one would think. What they will produce in a day, or what they will use in a day, is a smidgen of what we go through over in, where I'm at in Crush, where we do 170 to 200,000 bushels a day, they do 14, maybe 15. It's a different product. It'll be packaging and that type of thing. So I'm thinking you're gonna have flatbeds, pulling material, product out. You'll have trucks still coming in, but we have all of our, they're gonna have their silos, we still have our silos, but you're not gonna go through them as quick, because they're not running as hard. So that could be a good,
Probably a different time of day too, would be my guess.
right.
Nope, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You all right, Josh?
I'm good.
Yeah, welcome.
Still employed last time, okay?
Yeah. I know you took me on the picture.
Well, that is true. It's easier to get rid of when you're on a picture.
Water, wastewater, we're done with two, and working on some water things, and we're gonna have to be down a couple guys for a while, but we'll be fine.
Happens.
Yeah. So, everything's decent there. Fire department.
You said that?
One thing I would like to say to the new fire chief, yeah, as we get going, I won't talk to you guys about this. I've got some businesses that would like to meet the new fire chief and become kind of part of the community. So you can see what they're doing, what their policies are. Does that make sense?
Gotta run around with them.
Because we've got a lot of businesses that Steve knows this, the truck shows up, there's gonna be somebody take you from there. We have quite a few like that, don't we, in a way. But, you know, get to be part of the community and go from there.
Get him some stickers and stuff.
Yeah.
Hand out, when they see
He's
you.
got fire hats, that's right there.
There you go. So,
Okay, Park,
they've got the, asphalt down for the, pickleball courts and the parking. It looks, just out there, I think it was this morning, I think. It was this morning or yesterday. Looks great. It's a nice big pad.
Nice.
You know, they've got to do the painting and the striping and all that, yeah, and get the,
The net.
yep, the net and the, parking bumpers. Curbs. That's looking really good.
workout equipment's up too.
The workout equipment's up across the way. You know, again, we guys can't say enough for Dee Dee getting in there and slinging them out for us, all that stuff. Everything else that Blue River's done for us, so we've been very fortunate.
I've had a chance to use workout equipment.
Yeah, you and I both did, Dee.
Be on standby, Jamie, if he goes out to work.
All right.
There's a plan that needs done this summer.
Probably it.
Yeah. So whenever you're available, we can.
For you, Dee.
Yeah. Evening or, weekend.
Every other week. It begins, they just schedule.
Yeah. Okay.
After 10:30.
Okay.
Revitalization. Not much doing right now,
What's
is
going on?
it? Miscellaneous.
Move to
Here's the three words. Move to adjourn, all in favor?
Did you say 6 or 7 for the special meeting?
7.